Hey Tumblr, so I said I would do this video, and I finally convinced Joe to do it with me. So we are answering questions that you guys sent me, and so this is just going to kind of be, I guess, a little bit about us. Probably not anything you guys don't already know, but that's okay. So, um, first question was, what were our first impressions of each other, and like what we thought of each other the first time we met. So, first time we met was at prom, and the next question is what happened on your first date or how did that go? Well, our first date was prom in 2008, and we I was a sophomore and Joe was a junior, and we went to prom together. So that was kind of, I guess, when we got our first impressions of each other. We went to high school together, but we never really talked, did we? Like, you didn't even know me until we went to prom. So, um, anyways, I knew who he was. He was on like the fire department for like it was like a volunteer fire department or something like that, and my parents were
Gainesville's
on it.
volunteer fire department
Yeah, Gainesville's volunteer fire department, and
or something.
yeah, or something. Anyways, he was on that, and my parents were on it too, and so they had to go do their like classes and stuff together, and so they knew him from that, and they always came home and told me, they're like, Courtney, there's this guy in this volunteer fire course, and they're like, he's your age, he's really cute, and my mom was constantly like, if I could choose a boyfriend for you, that would be it. And at that point, like, I knew who he was because I had been to school with him for well, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So, like, 4 years I had been going to school with him, and I knew who he was, but I guess he had no clue who I was. But he was kind of a loner. He didn't know who anyone was. So, I mean, um, anyways, yeah, so my first impression was that he was really shy and quiet, and I didn't know what to say because he was kind of awkward. But, what was your first impression of me, Joe?
Well, my first impression of you started on our first date because that's when I first got to know you. Or you existed really. I I remember thinking because I don't know if you remember or not, but one of the first things you did is you fell asleep in my lap, and I remember at the time I was like, okay, this is kind of new. Uh, I
I
pretty much
fell
knew
asleep
then.
watching Iron Man
I pretty much
in
knew
the
then that
theater. Winnie, come here.
I didn't know if you were going to be my wife or not. I didn't know if you were
Come
going to be with me
here.
forever, but I knew that it was going to be a long relationship. I knew that I was going to make it work. So,
Yeah, I think I knew, like, on prom night that I wanted to date you pretty bad. Winnie, ow, that hurt. That hurt. But, anyways, so I mean, I thought he was really shy and quiet, but I could definitely, like, sense a relationship, I guess. And, anyways, um, next question is, what was your first date? I just said that. We went to prom together. I was a sophomore, he was a junior. My best friend at the time was Amanda, and she wanted to go to prom with Joe really bad because she thought he was really cute, apparently. And then, so she asked him to prom, and he said yeah. And then, like, what, the next day or 2 days later or something like that, she asked his best friend if he would date her. And so she was dating his best friend and going to prom with him, and that was kind of really confusing. But anyways, he told her he'd go to prom with her, and then the friend started dating her, and then I just repeated myself. But she her mom didn't like her boyfriend, Joe's friend James, and so she told Amanda that she couldn't go to prom unless she went to prom with Joe, because she wasn't going to have her at prom with James because she didn't like him. And so Joe, like, Amanda and James came up with this big scheme where James was going to ask me to go to the prom with him, and then, like, she would go to the prom with Joe, and when we got there, we'd just, like, switch dates. And so that's kind of how I first met Joe, was because of that, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And So we started, like, we exchanged phone numbers and we started talking about the prom. And so, like, I found out what color he was wearing. And the day I went to go dress shopping, um, I I picked out my dress and I paid like over $100 for the dress and all the accessories and all that good stuff. And it was like maybe a week before prom was, I guess, at that point. And I had just left the store and my mom is driving me home. And I get this call on my cell phone from Amanda. And she's like, hey, me and James just broke up. So I'm just going to go to the prom with Joe and you can't go. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. It's not like I just dropped $100 or more on prom. But anyway, so I called Joe to tell him what was going on, and he goes, yeah, Amanda just called me too. And I was like, oh, she did? He goes, yeah. And I was like, so, I guess you're going to go to prom with her, and I'll take my dress back. And ow, Winnie. And he was like, no. He goes, I'm not going to the prom with her. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, I'm not going to prom with her. I'm going to prom with you. And I was like, well, what are we going to do with Amanda? And he goes, well, I don't care. She can ride on the top of the truck for all I care. Anyways, Joe, what's your take on our first date? I guess you already said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then after that, like, we stayed at prom for like an hour, I guess. And then we went to the movies. And it was the same night that they had the premiere of that prom night movie showing. And so we all walk in and we're like in prom dresses and suits. And the lady goes, are you guys here for prom night? We're like, no, we're here for Iron Man. And like, so she got a good laugh out of that. But anyways, we went to Iron Man, and I think it was like 30 minutes into the movie, and I fell asleep.
I think it was that. You fell asleep to the previews.
Well, I don't know. Back then, I'd go to bed at like 9 o'clock every night. So we went to the movies at like 12, and so it was...
There was explosions everywhere, and screaming, and before you was over there snoring away.
I was not snoring.
Yeah, you were.
Whatever, no, I was not.
Yeah, you were.
Whatever, I don't snore, you snore. Okay, the next question says, how has the first year of marriage been? I think it's been pretty awesome. Everyone always says that the first year is the hardest, and I guess that financially it's been pretty hard on us, mainly because Joe was going to school full time and I was working full time, and I was the only one working for a long time. But as far as like relationship wise, I think it's been pretty easy. I mean, I haven't really. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, nothing bad.
I mean, it hasn't been hard. I didn't think. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But anyways, so I mean, it's been good. We've had a lot of good times. I mean, we've had our fair share of arguments, but not really fights, just arguments. And anyways, the next question says, what is Joe's favorite thing about you? That question's for you.
Looks like it's addressed to you. What's my favorite thing about you?
No, it's addressed to you. What's your favorite thing about me?
Let's see. My favorite thing about you is probably how you like it when I play with your hair.
But you hate playing with my hair.
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I hate it when it's like 4 in the morning and you wake me up and go, hey, play with my hair.
Whatever, I do
I go
not.
to sleep.
I don't do that. Okay, I do that sometimes. When I can't sleep, I'll wake him up and tell him to play with my hair because it puts me to sleep. Okay, what do you do that annoys Joe the most? Well, if I had to think of something that I do that annoys him, it'd probably be spending a lot of time on Tumblr. I don't know, Joe, what do I do that annoys you the most?
You spend a lot of time on Tumblr.
Is that really it?
I don't know if that's really it, because I like to play games a lot too.
So what do I actually do that annoys you?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes, like, you tell me to, you like call me on the phone or something when I'm at work and be like, hey, go do this, like, do this when we get home, or something like that. And it's like, you could have done it in hours that you, before you went to work, and it's just kind of, I don't know. Sometimes that gets on my nerves.
But I spent too much time on Tumblr,
Yeah, I
so
know.
I didn't get it done.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like you have a lot of time before work, but so anything, just get on Tumblr. Which I don't. A lot of times I don't do what you tell me to anyway. So
What does he do that annoys you the most? What do you think you do that annoys me, Joe?
not do what you tell me to.
That's pretty much it. I hate it when I ask him to do something like the dishes. Like if I did do a whole lot during the day, like sometimes, I'll do a lot of cleaning during the day and I'll get a lot of stuff done and like the only thing left to do is the dishes and I'll like call him and ask him to do them and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll do the dishes." Or I'll make like a list. I'm a massive like list maker. We noticed that when we were doing our like pre-marriage counseling and like our preacher, like he had us do these personality profile things and my personality profile told me I was a beaver which meant that like I make a lot of lists was like the very first thing it mentioned, and so I make a lot of lists and so I'll list like things like take out the trash, do the dishes, or throw the clothes from the washer in the dryer, and I'll have a list and it's all in like red marker and his name's really big and I'll even put it like on his keyboard or like tape it to his computer monitor so that like he has to see it before he can play games, and I'll say at the bottom of the list, please do this before you play games, and he still won't do it, so I get irritated with that. But that's probably the thing that annoys me the most. There's not a whole lot that annoys me, I guess. Most of the stuff he does I still think is kind of cute, but I tell him that all the time. He doesn't like being called cute, so don't call him cute, guys. Next question. If you could live anywhere, where would you live? Where would you want to live, Joe?
Hawaii.
Hawaii? I would want to go to Ireland, I think, if I could take my family with me. Right now, like, if I live anywhere, I'd want to be back in Gainesville. Not because I miss any of the people there, just because my family's there and Joe's family's there, and I miss being able to watch, like, my sisters grow up, and his sister just had twins last year. Well, actually, they're almost 2. They'll be 2 in September, and I just really kind of miss like watching her kids grow up and being able to go over and see them anytime I wanted to. What is the best date that you've ever been on with each other? Well, that's funny because I didn't ever go on dates before Joe. Like I had like little boyfriends. Like I think I've had like 5 boyfriends total. And the only other boy that I ever really went anywhere with was every Wednesday to church. So it doesn't really count as a date, I don't think. But and Joe, I think I'm the only one he's ever actually went on a date with.
That's not true.
No? Who else did you go with?
Favorite girlfriend I ever had.
Nuh-uh. You said that you didn't ever go anywhere with them, except for school. Well, I don't care. Either
Went to all the
way.
movies, I mean.
Oh, well, movies not as dates. But, with each
It's kind of
other,
hard to when you can't drive.
I know, my parents always told me I couldn't go on a date until I was 16. So that's why prom was my first date, because it was in May and I turned 16 like 2 months before that.
That was kind of fun. Were you 16?
Yeah, when we started dating, I was 16. You were just about to turn 17. So the best date that I've ever been on, probably, I don't know, proms. But we just usually we always went out to movies or out to eat Chinese with the other guys, with all your friends. We would like go out to a Chinese restaurant and then we would go hang out at Hastings for hours before you'd take me home. Or we'd like go see a movie and then go to Hastings. But
So that could just be us dating. Or maybe our friends being there too.
yeah, your friends could be there too.
I think my favorite one was when, wait, were you there?
Thanks, Joe.
When they were making the puppets with the crawfish?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, yeah,
Me
I
and
thought you
Haley
were.
both. My sister went with us too.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, we went out to a Chinese restaurant and they had like, what were those?
Crawfish.
Crawfish at this restaurant, and all of Joe's friends took like their chopsticks and they like put the little crawfish bodies after they had like eaten them. They stuck their bodies on one of their sticks and like made little puppets out of them, and then they started throwing crawdads across the table. at
felt
each
so
other.
sorry for that waitress.
Yeah, I felt really bad for the waitress, but we left her like a $50 tip, so I'm sure that she didn't care because we kind of cleaned up our mess too, if I remember right. But that was a pretty fun date, I guess, too. So I guess I don't really have like a favorite. I mean, the proms are okay. Like the date themselves are awesome because it was me and Joe, but proms kind of sucked, I guess.
How did you stay that long?
We stayed for like an hour, long enough to do like one slow dance, and then we'd like leave and go see a movie or something. Yeah. Shut up, Joe. Who does most of the cooking in your relationship? Joe. I don't cook very much. I used to be decent at cooking, but then I just kind of suck now. Like, I can't even make gravy anymore. So, like, every time I try to make gravy, I, like, cry because I can't get it right. And then Joe laughs at me.
We got some message that because it was our anniversary, I should make her dinner.
Yeah, his cousin commented on my status, and they're like, oh, if it's your anniversary, you should make Joe make dinner. And I was like, Joe does all the cooking anyways. He cooks me dinner every night. Anyways, yeah. So, the last question that we got was, how is the housework split up? It just depends, really. I mean, like, if there's a lot of it, like, I don't know. I mean, our house doesn't get that dirty.
We both have a computer a lot.
Yeah, and so,
Keeps it
like,
kinda clean.
so, I mean, like, the most that ever has to really be done is, like, the dishes and the laundry and taking the trash out. And so, like, I mean, I do, like, the cleaning, like, the bathrooms and the living room. Joe does, like, the dishes and he takes out the trash. And then I'll focus on, like, the laundry, or I'll ask him to vacuum the floor, and then he does the cooking. So, I mean, it's really kind of split evenly, I guess. I don't know. I would say that's even. But, anyways, that is our video. That's all the questions that I got. So, I mean, unless you guys have more questions, we can make another one. Joe loves making videos.
Go back to playing EVE Online.
Just kidding. Alright, well that's it. So we will see you guys later. Bye. Are you going to say bye?
Bye.